All right, I got loaded here. Finally over here in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. They just finished loading me. And I'm gonna pull up to the Tarping area. Got paperwork. I'm ready to rock and roll as soon as I get strapped in tarp. So I just gotta pull up over there between the cones and do my thing. All right, so it is Thursday morning and I'm not using a mic today because my mic seems to be messing up and screwing up my audio, so I'm just gonna go straight. Just the GoPro's standard internal mic, I guess. So hopefully the audio's okay. I'll try to speak up a little bit. But so this was the load I was supposed to pick up last night, but because my delivery went so long, I had to reschedule it for this morning. So about 65 PSI is about right, so we're light. And this called for 6-foot tarps, but we'll be able to use 4s on this. So that's why I like to carry both sets, because you don't really know until you load what you need. It's nice to have options. This should be a pretty easy peasy load. Really straightforward tarping job. Probably too straightforward and too easy. Sometimes for video's sake, it's good to have a complicated one. I don't love that, it's sticking up. It's gonna be hard on my tarps. Not much I can do about it. You know, 3's probably fine, but on this front one, I'm just gonna go ahead and do 4. Isn't gonna hurt anything. Then the middle one, I'll do 2, because it can't go forward or backward. So we got an uneven one up there. So I looked this morning, just briefly, for Jeff. He's delivering at 8 in the morning Mountain Time in Butte, Montana. Let's go ahead and put all these up first. And if you watched my other video, we're probably gonna deadhead him home for the weekend. but I always like to look in case the perfect load pops up. So since no one's waiting on us and anything else, I'll probably take a second here in a minute and go take a peek, because it's bright and early in the morning today. You know, now is when loads will pop up. Give the brokers time to get in and call their customers and find out who's got what, and then I'll look again before I leave here, see if we can't get Jeff's situation figured out really well. I hope the audio is working okay. So bright and early in the morning is when you always want to look for loads. So he is going to be in Butte, Montana, looking to go back to Spokane today. Flatbed. Whew, that's interesting. Great Falls to Spokane. Gosh. Huh, that would almost be perfect. Only thing that's not perfect is that that's probably a broker that we can't, that won't pay their bills. Bozeman to Spokane, that's even more perfect. TQL pays their bills. Ready. Okay, I'm gonna call these guys. Oh, 53. Sometimes they post that by accident. I better call these guys. I'll pause the video. You guys don't need to hear a conversation. And we'll get back to Tarping.
Quality Logistics has provided the reliability.
All right, we got that load booked, the TQL one.
24/7.
We're just waiting on hold here because he had to get a couple more calls done and he was in a hurry. So he told us to wait online, told me to wait online. So I'll wait a second. This load I'm on is not in a big hurry anymore with the delay. I'm already delayed, so it'll deliver Monday no matter what. So I'll take this time to get Jeff booked up and make sure he's got a good load.
Representative will be with you shortly.
Call him back, call him back.
All right. All right, I'm here.
Yeah, 1 second. I'm texting that my contact and talking to you at the same time.
Okay.
And you'll get on the GPS tracking right away. You'll have the driver activated so I can see that it's pinging.
Yeah, sure. What time is it over there? It is 7:20.
It is 1 hour behind, right? 7:20?
Yeah, it's 7:20 over there. So, yeah, yeah, I can call Jeff and just tell him to start the TQL track or the micropoint, whatever, which one you want.
All right, brother. And then, what was I gonna say? Who's the driver? Who's the driver? And he's in the system, or do I need to put him in here?
He should be in there. Yeah, we.
All right. And then is the phone number for tracking in the system for Jeff as well, or no?
Should be, but in case you need it. Okay, we're back at Tarping here. We got that load booked for Jeff. That was a pretty good one. We got lucky on that one. TQL came through for us, man. Got us $1,150 for 198 miles loaded. Now it's more than that because our deadhead's pretty substantial, but we have to go that way anyway. And then it goes to Omak, Washington, which is a long ways from Spokane. I didn't even map it because it doesn't matter. Either way, it's a good load for us. It's probably 100 and probably 180 mile deadhead back home for Jeff, so it's only going to increase our mileage from what we were already going to deadhead. It might increase it by 300 miles, maybe 320 miles more than we would have driven anyway for $1,150. So yeah, it'll be a damn good week for Jeff, honestly. On a week that was going to be a short week because of home time, we were able to pull out a miracle and have a pretty successful week. He started this week. I was wrong about the other video. I forgot when he started. He actually loaded that first load on Friday the previous week, and then he parked on it all weekend and took off on Sunday and delivered bright and early on Monday. When I did that spreadsheet video, I had forgotten that he loaded that early. So, you know, he loaded Friday, he went home Saturday, and he left the house, I don't know when, on Sunday, probably fairly late on Sunday because it wasn't that many miles. He probably left around noon on Sunday. So it's going to end up being, you know, Friday loaded, parked Saturday, left Sunday, so we can count basically Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I guess that was a 6-day week, so it wasn't all that short of a week after all, because he started on Sunday. And our pay periods start on Sunday. So we end our week on Saturday for the pay period. So for his week, his pay period would have started on Sunday. So pretty much all of that load, there's only a few miles of this week of his, you know, as far as his payroll goes, that won't be on this payroll. Virtually all of his miles for all of these loads he's done will be on this payroll. So it's going to be a pretty good week for Jeff while hanging around the house. I mean, he was never more than like 500 miles from his house. That's what I like about flatbed. It's for dry van, you might have been able to do something like that in certain areas, but flatbed's a lot more, there are a lot more areas where you get lucky. And this one we got lucky. Like I said, I was expecting to deadhead home. You know, I was expecting him to have to deadhead home today. We pretty much already knew about that. We had scheduled it. It was okay. We had booked our loads according to that. And so I just decided to look and figure he's deadheading home anyway. Let's fill up some time, and got another $1,150 on the week. So it's going to turn out to be a really good week for him. Wish we could do that week over and over and over again until the end of the year, to be honest. Let's talk about my week while we're strapping here. So I started my week on a Monday in Wyoming. In Casper, Wyoming. And went over to Chicago. That was $2,000 from Casper to Chicago, and then this load, a big deadhead which, like I said, I had booked this load specifically to get up to North Idaho to visit Jeff's family. And now with not picking up until today, I won't be able to make that. So in hindsight, I shouldn't have booked this load, but I didn't want to cancel it because brokers don't like you canceling loads. So I called the broker and he was able to move the appointment back to this morning instead of last night, so we were able to salvage the load. The load will still be profitable. I'm still happy with the load. I just wouldn't exactly have went this direction. So this load's 4250. $237 per loaded mile. And did I say 4250 is what this load paid? So this week will be 6250 if I'm doing my math right. From a Monday to a Monday, because I'll deliver this on Monday. So a full 7-day week. Full 7-day week will get us 6250. We end up in Washington, which is not a great, it's not my favorite market. It's also not the worst. It's a lot better than Denver, a lot better than Wyoming, you know, a lot better than Salt Lake. So now they offered over here, they offered to lift these tarps up for me. I told them, nah, I'm a big strong guy, I can throw them up there. So we'll see how that works. Ah, shit. Okay. Should have taken the help. This is a good way to hurt your back, I'm gonna be honest with you. Ooh. Stay. Okay, got it. Didn't injure my back. Good deal. Okay, no wind today, thank God. This will be easy. You know what? Jeff taught me a lesson the other day. I should have kept that bungee. I'll do it on the front. I'll show you what I mean. That's the fun thing, you know, you always learn something. You might think that because I share videos of how to tarp, I know everything. That's not the case. You know, the thought did cross my mind. This is Trex decking, composite decking. The thought kind of crossed my mind. Why in the world are we tarping this? you always look around and you're like, huh, wonder why the hell someone said tarps. Someone in the office somewhere said tarps. And because that word got mentioned 17 years ago, now all of a sudden every truck driver has to tarp this load. Woohoo! That was scary. Okay, so what Jeff taught me, we need to pull this. So if you need to pull it, you can kind of scoot your feet and it pulls it a little bit. Okay, let's go another scooch. Another little bit. Okay. While you're up here, you may as well connect your top ring because it's kind of hard to reach. Ow, this one probably wouldn't be. It's only 4 foot, but on the back it could be. On the front you can stand there, but on the back there's nowhere to stand because this doesn't, this goes all the way to the end of the trailer and then some. So that's a cool little trick. If you got an 8-foot tarp load, which Jeff does a lot more of that shit than I do because he lives in the Pacific Northwest. So okay, make sure when you jump everything's clear. Don't have any toes wrapped up in tarps or anything like that. Okay, this is a good long haul, so we're definitely going to use our bungee rope. Wrong way, Cole. Do it this way. We're just going to button up in a couple of spots just to make sure we don't have anything fall off. Okay, I'll get a couple long bungees, button up the side, the end caps. Just 3 of them. All right. Probably going to do one of these numbers. It's a new bungee, nice and tough stretch. You know what? There we go. Now, if this was a 6-foot tarp and we could risk getting this out into the tire, I would put some bungees like from here and wrap them around back to the frame under there. So in case something comes loose, that those bungees will hold that tarp up from getting into the tire. But in this case, even if it comes loose, we can't really get it into the tire, so we're good. Well, let me just show you what I mean. I would do do something like this, and then that's not what I mean. Like that. And then I'd probably do one in the middle, so, and maybe one here back too, so even if it came unfolded, it would be held there. Okay, on the back, we want to run the back flap first. Okay, I gotta check. I told them I was gonna keep an eye on my T-coil completed. Okay. Jeff says 3.5 hours to his pickup. He's probably gonna be empty about 9. So that means 1:30 if he doesn't stop. So I figured about 2. They cut off at 3, so he should have no problem making. See, you want to go that way now because we don't want to cut our flap. So he should have no problem making his pickup. That was a good load. That was a lucky one. I like it when you get lucky. Said every guy in the world, right? I love it when you get lucky. See, if this would have been a taller load, it would have been a little more difficult to grab that. It's So it's already pretty difficult because look, so Jeff's technique is a trick of the day, I guess we can say. Okay, when you're doing this, you should be wearing sunglasses or safety glasses. So I probably should have recorded that conversation with TQL. I was trying not to, you know, give away too much information, I guess, but he was pretty thrilled to find a truck there. I can tell you that. He was more than happy. He didn't think he was going to get that load covered. He thought he was going to have to go to his customer and say, sorry, I can't accomplish the goal. But I called him and he was thrilled. He looked up my MC number, found out we're already set up, found out we got a good record with him, and he's like, holy shit. He even told me, he's like, you know, my boss is telling me this load should go for 1,000, but what did he say? He's like, I think I might have to pay more than that. How much you need? He basically gave away the fact that he's willing to do more. I probably should have told him 2 grand, or, you know, who knows, but there would have been a limit, of course. I told him 1150 because that would make me super happy, and he agreed to it, and we're good to go. Jeff's gonna get maximum amount of miles this week on a short week. Gonna be home when he wants to be. The company would have done well for the rate per mile for sure, so no problem there at all. I love it when you're in those areas where the brokers are thrilled to take your call because they couldn't find anybody else. That's a nice situation to be in. That's what we used to find ourselves in every single day in every single market during the 2021 and 2022 boom. Every time we called a broker, they were trying like hell not to get us to hang up. They're like, well, what do we got to do to get you on this load? We want to book you right now. I want to send you a rate con right now. What do we got to do? Total switch from back then. That's the way it used to be. You'd call them up, and as soon as they found out that you had the equipment they needed, they would move mountains to try to get you on their load. And boy, that was nice. Really, that's the main difference with what has happened in today's market versus what it was in the pandemic boom. The main difference is not really the rates per mile. Yes, some of that is true, but the main difference is the availability all over the place. The fact that I used to, all the time during those times, I'd see a load, I'd be driving to deliver somewhere in Atlanta, for example, and 2 days from my delivery, I'd be looking, and I'd see a load posted that I was interested in, you know, something going to Seattle or who knows, whatever. And I'd look at that load, and it was posted 2 days ahead of time, and I'd just watch it. And that specific load might go from $5,000, and every couple of hours it would jump another $200. until eventually it was up to $7,000 or $8,000, and I'd call on it. There was no problem getting loads because every broker was struggling to find drivers. So it was much easier to book back then. I mean, forget about the rate. It was just easier to book because loads didn't leave. They were on the load board. Once the load was posted on the load board, it was on the load board until you booked it. It was almost like I was out here alone. Like no other driver was out here booking loads. I was the only one. That's how I felt. And I could just take my time and book whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and never have to be in a rush. Now, you notice how I stopped tarping this morning to make sure I got on the board when the timing was right. That's what's really changed. That's what I have noticed. The biggest change is we have to be quick, we have to be decisive. We can't let things sit on the board because somebody who doesn't speak English is gonna take the damn thing. No, nothing. Or someone who speaks English. It just seems like that's the thing everybody's complaining about today, but somebody's gonna take that damn load. Whether it pays money or loses money, doesn't matter. They're gonna take it. So we don't have the luxury of sitting around and waiting for the right time to come. The other thing that I would do in the same situation, there might be a load leaving on Wednesday, or no, there might be a load leaving on Friday, for example, and I can't exactly get there on Friday, and I just wait. And by midday on Friday, it's posted for Monday also, because they know they can't find a driver. Something to that effect. Where if you want, basically whatever day you want to pick it up, you can just make your rules, because the brokers and the shippers were really struggling to find capacity. So when that happens, they're able to change all kinds of parameters to make sure you get on that load. In other words, it's just, rather than fighting you, they work with you. And that's what I noticed a lot of. Now, it's not that brokers fight us. I mean, that broker was thrilled to get us on the load and thrilled to be able to call his customer and said he pulled it off, you know. And in the flatbed world, we get a lot less of the confrontation with brokers. I have noticed that. A little bit of van I've been doing here and there. Not yet this year, but you get into these, you know, not confrontations, not fights, but these conversations where you can tell you're not really happy with the broker. They're not really happy with you, but you both need each other. In the flatbed space, it's a lot less of that. In fact, I'd say there's almost none of that. It's much more like the broker wants to work with you, you want to work with the broker, and everybody's happy, everybody's excited. You know, everybody wants the freight. You show up to a receiver, they're happy to unload you, they like the freight, they're excited, they've been waiting for that for a week, and they get you right offloaded. Van, you go park in the back 40 and they call you when they're damn well ready, because they view your trailer as work. Yeah, boy, here's another one. Here's another work. Here's more stuff we gotta unload. Whereas in the flatbed space, they're like, oh, thank God, we've been needing this product. Pull right around here. And before you hop, a lot of times, before you can get out of the truck, they're already starting to unstrap your freight. Now you're like, hold on, guys, hang on, wait a minute. I've had that on construction sites and stuff like that. I've had that happen a lot, where you show up and before you can even hop out of the truck, they got 10 guys undoing your straps, undoing your bungees, tarp, and before you know it, your tarps are folded up and your straps are off, and you're like, what the hell? So, that being said, it's not all fun and games. Let's see, I'm gonna take that off. Okay, we don't have the other side buttoned up yet, so I'm gonna do it. The one thing I was doing before is putting some bungees on this side to kind of keep things snug while I tighten up the other side. That works pretty good, or you just kind of go back and forth. The idea is you don't want to over tighten one side and get that tarp coming over. I don't like to use that steel on my rope, that steel hook. %, battery life on the camera, so if it dies, I'm not gonna do anything about it. It's we're damn near done with this load anyway, with this tarp job. I think from here you guys figure out, self-explanatory enough to figure out how this works, right? I've already got paperwork, and so as soon as I finish here, back out of here and drive off. I'll reset on Sunday, hopefully visit Jeff and his family on Sunday, and up in North Idaho. If you guys didn't already know, Jeff and I go way back. We've been good friends ever since I think we were 14 years old, both of us. So he's my driver right now, but we've been good friends, best of friends for our entire lives pretty much. Now I'll probably take a bungee. There's one. Keep that tarp from moving around too much. Sometimes it's good to put that tarp right there to where the rope can hold it down. It creates a little bit less ballooning. missing one there. Broken rope hook. So yeah, I'll haul this load over probably to Post Falls, take a reset in Post Falls on Sunday, then go deliver on Monday morning in Tacoma, and then who knows? Planned that wrong, didn't I? And I'm kind of going to opt to go somewhere that gets me home. So Salt Lake out of Tacoma, maybe Southern California, and then from there to Salt Lake, something like that. Maybe to Denver from Washington, and then deadhead home from Denver. That's okay. I've done that several times. It's a little bit of a long deadhead, but normally it pays so much better to go to Denver, it's worth it. So we'll see. I'll try to do better at posting videos and everything. So that's it, guys. I'm going to clean up here, and it's ready to go. See, I don't like those dunnage that sticks up. I don't think it's going to cut through my tarp, but it's going to wear it out a little more. So that's it, guys. What do you think? Did I do okay? All right, still over here in South Dakota. I got Jeff got his load delivered this morning, and there was a little bit of a problem, and I wanted to record a rant against brokers. So I mean, nothing really is a problem. We got that load delivered, no big deal. It's just what had happened is we got the rate confirmation, sent it over to Jeff. Jeff is a solid flatbed operator. So when he got the information, he calls the shipper and says, hey, this is when I'm going to be there. What are we doing? How do we get there? How do we pull in? All the stuff. And you know, of course, the shipper says, okay, yeah, you pull in here. We'll see you when you get here. Sounds good. And then the broker calls the shipper. And I don't know what the heck he said, but when Jeff got there, the shipper's like, who the hell is this Juan guy? And Jeff's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, some Juan guy called and told me something about you and picked up, and I didn't understand anything. And Jeff's like, I don't know who Juan is. I don't know who that is. Well, so then he gets picked up and he drives over, parks for the night, gets up, he calls the receiver. It's going to a job site in the middle of nowhere, Washington, Omak, Washington. This is a TQL broker, agent, whatever. So he calls the night before and says, hey, when do you guys start around there? I know it's a job site. What do you like? We start at 6 in the morning. He's like, okay, well, I'll be there about 6:30. Perfect. All right, see you when you get here. And Jeff wakes up at like 2 in the morning to make sure he gets there on time because he was a little ways away. Shows up at 6 in the morning, no one's there. He's like, what in the hell? I just talked to him yesterday. They said they were going to be here at 6. And he waits and almost no phone service there. Eventually they come back and they're like, oh, this Juan guy called us and told us you weren't going to be here until 7:22, and so we went to breakfast. And he's like, who the hell is Juan? Because he screwed up my shipment and he screwed up my delivery. What is going on? Well, it turns out Juan is the broker. So it wasn't a big deal. I mean, you know, Jeff waited like an hour for those guys to come back, I guess. I don't know, somewhere close to that. And, you know, we got the load delivered, no big deal. But I just thought it was a fun rant to make, to record. Sometimes the brokers need to stay the hell out of our business. Like, I love brokers. They're my customer. That's pretty much all I work for is brokers. I don't work for any direct shippers, so it is my bread and butter working for brokers. So I don't want to, you know, hate my customer or talk ill of the person who pays me. But if any brokers are watching this, you guys sometimes just need to stay the hell out of the way. Like, do the paperwork, give the carrier the correct phone numbers, the correct pickup number, the correct addresses. Oh, and this was the other thing. They got the addresses wrong on the original driver information sheet, had to send a second one. They were spam emailing us all day long yesterday about the tracking not working. Well, of course it didn't work. He didn't have phone service nearly the entire drive. And so they're freaking the hell out, wondering where their shipment went, getting ready to claim lost shipment and claim on insurance or something, I don't know. And because their software wasn't working. So in a lot of cases, if you're working with a quality carrier, this is talking to the brokers, if you're working with a quality carrier, someone that you trust, leave them the hell alone. Let them line up their shipments. Give them the data they need. Give them the rate confirmation. Give them the pickup number, the BOL numbers, whatever it is that you need to give them. And let them do their job. Let us, the carrier, let the driver do our job. Jeff had that perfectly lined up. And Juan kept calling and screwing the whole mess up. With he had no idea what he was doing. He was going off of the tracking, is what he said. Well, the tracking had stopped way back when he lost signal, and so it apparently said he was going to be there at 7:22. And if he would have logged back in an hour later, it would have still said 7:22 because it had stopped. So I just please, brokers, when you're dealing with quality carriers like us, let us do our job. Don't micromanage us, because it just pisses everybody off, including your customers, which are the shipper or the receiver. I think it was the receiver in this case. And even the receiver didn't know who the hell this Juan guy was. So probably because they were dealing with the actual broker and Juan was the agent or the assistant, and so no one knew who this guy was. But he kept calling and rescheduling everything, and every time Jeff showed up somewhere, he's like, "What the hell's going on? I had this all preset." So anyway, I just thought that was a fun rant to make about brokers. Everybody likes to talk ill of brokers, and I try not to do that, but in this case, I'm gonna follow suit with everybody else and yell at the broker in this case. So I did call Juan and I said, "Look, I know you have to micromanage drivers, because most drivers won't wake up on time and won't make a delivery on time and have no idea what they're doing. But in our case, you really screwed things up." And he's like, "Well, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was screwing everything up." So I did pass on the irritation from the driver to the broker. Maybe he won't do it again, but probably not, because unfortunately, brokers have to do that. If they don't, they're going to have shipments that deliver 3 days late. Because I don't know how this happens, but apparently 80% of the drivers when I talk to brokers, 80% of their drivers, if they don't call 17 times a day, the shipment won't get delivered. I don't know what these guys are doing out there. Apparently they pick up freight and then just go to sleep for 3 days. I don't know. Anyway, that was a fun conversation I had with Jeff, and then the broker at the next one, and I was just sitting there thinking about it. I'm like, man, sometimes these brokers, they're over anxious. Now this was a pretty young guy, and he probably started this job last week. So he's micromanaging everything. He's freaking out, you know, trying to make sure his client is happy. And by doing that, he ends up pissing off his client. Because now whoever hired him is sitting there thinking, who the hell is this guy and why is he screwing up our schedule? That's probably not what Juan was trying to accomplish. So brokers, if you're listening, I don't know how to deal with that, because we are only the carrier, and we get one direction. We only have this problem. We don't have the opposite problem of drivers not making deliveries. So I don't know how you handle that, or how you know you're dealing with a good broker or a good solid carrier versus a bad carrier. But just keep in mind, try not to piss everybody off. Just do the paperwork, hand off the paperwork to your carrier, and let them handle it.